Wrestling is a business full of huge egos, so countless real battles have taken place that weren't scripted. Here are 10 of the most memorable shoot fights in wrestling. 10 wrestling matches that turned into real fights. Steven Regal vs. Goldberg. William Regal is one of the toughest guys to ever step foot in a ring, but this encounter took place in WCW, when he was Steven Regal. This was the first challenge for the undefeated Goldberg, who couldn't work a decent match, and the veteran Regal decided to test him out. Goldberg was lost throughout the 6-minute encounter, and whether it was planned or not, this one was definitely a shoot fight between a grizzled veteran and an upstart rookie. Perry Saturn vs. Mike Bell. This match is best known for the punishment Saturn received, as he was given the infamous Moppy ankle as a result. Bell was a young rookie and he botched an arm drag, which ended with Saturn landing on his head. Saturn didn't take this lightly and began to legitimately beat up the youngster. He threw him out to the outside and Bell landed directly on top of his head. Not a good look for a veteran like Perry Saturn. Kurt Angle vs. Daniel Puder. This was perhaps the biggest moment in the history of Tough Enough, a series that's generally seen as a failure. The Olympic gold medalist challenged any contestant to an amateur-style bout, which was accepted by MMA specialist Daniel Puder. The two were locked in a battle when Puder locked in a Kimura lock, forcing the referees to count a pinfall to keep Angle from being injured. Puder went on to win the competition, but didn't do anything as memorable as this with the WWE. JBL vs. the Blue Meanie. This one has been well documented, as a real-life beating was given by JBL to the Blue Meanie at ECW's One Night Stand in 2005. The reasoning for it has never been completely told, but during a brawl between brands, the ECW alumni was left with a very bloody face. Thankfully, Meanie got his revenge on WWE TV, and the two have made up and are now on good terms. Koji Katao vs. Earthquake. Japanese wrestling fans are typically enamored with big guys, and therefore this matchup was one that was highly anticipated. The two had a decent match, but Katao wasn't happy with the result, and he showed it in their rematch. Both of them were no-selling and making a sloppy mess out of it, which the fans recognized and booed loudly. The match ended as Katao kicked the referee and was disqualified. New Jack vs. Gypsy Joe. This is a match that wasn't at any major wrestling promotion, but New Jack has to appear on a list like this. It came in 2003 in front of a crowd of around 100 people, where he battled a 62-year-old in a hardcore match. When Gypsy Joe hit him with a stiff shot and no-sold New Jack's strikes, he went off. He severely battered him with stiff weapon shots and made the entire crowd uncomfortable for the rest of the match. Andre the Giant vs. Akira Maeda. Andre the Giant wasn't one of the easiest people to work with, but when he battled Akira Maeda intoxicated, all hell could have broken loose. Neither man wanted to job to the other, and New Japan boss Antonio Inoki apparently wanted to teach Maeda a lesson. The match was sloppy, with Maeda taking down Andre before the Giant shrugged off the rest of his offense. The crowd was angry, and a bunch of wrestlers came down to have a brawl, to make it look like a planned finish. Lex Luger vs. Bruiser Brody. Due to his physique and the opportunities that came with it, Lex Luger has a big ego, one that doesn't play well with a veteran like Bruiser Brody. Brody was upset with the idea of losing to the youngster in a cage match and thus began another no-selling his moves. He then unloaded a series of stiff shots and Luger responded, tired of the antics, by simply leaving the ring. Whoever is to blame, it's not good when a veteran goes to work for himself like that. Stanislaus Zbyszko vs. Wayne Munn. This is quite possibly the first recorded incident of someone going to bat for themselves in a wrestling ring. Wayne Munn was the chosen future by the Goldust trio consisting of Toots Mondt, Ed Lewis, and Billy Sandow, but neither Zbyszko or the promoter were having any of it. The veteran Zbyszko beat down the rookie until the referee was forced to make the pinfall. Zbyszko then gave the title to the promoter Joe Stecher, much to the embarrassment of the Pioneer trio. The Great Antonio vs. Antonio Inoki. If there's one man a pro wrestler shouldn't anger, it's the legendary Antonio Inoki. And that's exactly what the Great Antonio did when he famously no-sold all of Inoki's offense. The WWE Hall of Famer took exception to this and decided to batter the larger man, hitting him with stiff strikes to the head. The match was only ended when Inoki's manager came to the ring and stopped the carnage, as the Great Antonio looked in deep trouble. And that's it for our video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Sportster on YouTube. And remember, if you get into a wrestling ring, it may be scripted, but things can still get real.